If you are new to worksheet formulas in Google Sheets or in Excel, you might have been browsing around the web and looking how to do a particular formula and found these dollar signs in formulas that people are writing. And when I first started writing formulas, I didn't know what they were. And it wasn't until I dug a little deeper that I found out what it means. Now, as you may know, when you write a formula and copy a formula, it will reference any cells relative to the location of the original cell. So what I mean is if I hit equals and I go A6 plus B6 and hit enter, it's going to give me 4, right? But if I copy and paste this formula right here, it doesn't give me 4. And the reason why is because now my reference cells have changed relative to the location of my cell. So originally, if I look at this cell right here, I selected a cell that was you know, um, I selected a cell that was 4 cells down, and then another cell that was 4 cells down and 1 cell over. Well, when I copy and paste my formula, it's going to give me new cells relative to my new cell location. So 4 down and 1 over. That's why I get an answer of 2 instead of 4, because there's nothing in the cell to the right. So um, how does this come back to the dollar signs? Well, the dollar signs will make a cell reference what we call absolute. In other words, it makes it so that the reference is no longer relative to the current cell's location. So in this example, if I take up in my formula bar and I've got A6 and I put a dollar sign in front of the A, that means that if I move my cell around, it's going to stay in A. Okay, so if you look what I do here, if I let's see here, copy this and paste it here, notice my cell is still A6. Now it changed to C6, meaning it still went 4 down, 1 over because I didn't have a dollar sign there. So let's try it again. I'm going to put a dollar sign now in front of the B as well. I come in here and I copy this and I move it over and paste it, and I should get a 4. And the reason why is because now you look at the cells it's referencing. Because I made those columns absolute, basically what I told Google Sheets to do is I don't want you to change the column. So as I move columns over, which is what I did, I moved 1 column over, don't change the columns that you move over, okay? Because I gave it an absolute sign. Now, the dollar signs in front of the numbers do the same thing except with rows. So now if I take this same formula and copy and paste it right here, I'm going to get 0. And that's because now instead of looking at A6 and B6, I'm looking at A7 and B7, because again, I didn't make those absolute. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4 down. It's referencing this cell, which has nothing in it. And that's why I get 0. Now, if I come back to my original formula and throw some dollar signs in there, dollar sign there, dollar sign there, hit enter. Now I copy this formula and paste it, I'll get a 4. And that's because I've made both the row and the column absolute. So no matter where I paste this formula, it's going to reference A6 and B6. So I could copy this formula and paste it all the way over here, which really isn't close to my cells at all, but it's still referencing A6 and B6 because I have those dollar signs in there. Now, this comes into play a lot when you're using different types of functions. I use it a lot when I'm using a VLOOKUP function, or sometimes if I'm using an if function. Um, as you go through and gain more experience in workbooks, you'll find yourself using this feature more and more.